He took these Google free certificate classes, got an entry level job to some tech company, Ed's making 6 figures right now from a free certificate. Got a Google certificate and had a passion for it.
Not about the cost of the education, it's the value.
Yeah.
You see?
100%.
That's awesome.
Free doesn't matter. It's what value did he get from it? And he got a technical skill. He learned a trade.
Yeah.
See, this is what we're talking about the importance of education.
Yeah. Super great experience right now in Times Square as we are in New York, in the city. Man, it's been crazy.
You're in my hometown.
It's been crazy. It's been absolutely fantastic. So you're from New York.
I am.
And you're like, you said one bus stop away?
I'm on the Upper West Side, so it's
Upper
one
West
stop,
Side.
but
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't call that the hood, though. It's
We don't call that the hood either. Just so you know. We're on the same page.
yeah, pretty close by.
Yeah. And you're from Cali.
Yeah, Cali, San Diego.
Cali, yeah.
Let me give a caveat to that because I grew up in D.C., raised in D.C. most of my life.
That's right.
And then moved. So I'm California now because I've been out there for 20 years, but from originally D.C. So
yes,
that's awesome.
Yes, and you're in New York.
New York City. South
You can hear it in your accent, man. New York.
Big X energy.
All day, every day.
Love it.
Dope. So I want to talk about first. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
And just also what your business does.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Alon Grinshpoon. I live on the Upper West Side, as mentioned earlier. I run a company called Echo 3D. We're a cloud solution for 3D digital asset management, which basically means that we're a very fancy Dropbox for 3D. Mm-hmm. So we have companies like oil and gas, automotive, who use this to store 3D models, animations, interactive content, and then share those types of files across our team all over the world.
Yeah. It's cool too, but you didn't talk about the video games.
Yeah, so one of the biggest use cases of 3D, it's video, obviously gaming. Video games is massive.
Yeah, models and stuff like that for games.
So avatars, models, game assets, you name it.
Yeah.
We're seeing today, games like Fortnite or Roblox. These are massive kind of games with massive users, and the content is constantly changing. Yeah. So you need really kind of interesting tools to manage all that content.
Yeah, and then when did you start your business?
6 years ago.
6 years. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. It's been a wild ride. We raised $9.5 million from a bunch of kind of VC capitals like Qualcomm Ventures and Space Capital based here in the city. It's been a wild ride. New York is the place to start your business. It's the place that kind of dreams can come true. And if you're an entrepreneur and trying to build something, this is definitely the place to make it happen.
Yeah. I just got an invite to Black Week. I guess I got to come back.
You kind of have to come back.
I guess I got to build my business here.
I love you gave a nod to New York, big city of dreams.
Yeah, big city of dreams.
No, I get invited to Black Week.
I know, man. I know. We gonna talk. We gonna talk.
For this long, I ain't get the invite. I'm
jealous.
I see how it is.
You gotta fly all the way back out here a week later, man.
In Cali.
Yeah, Cali. I'm 4 or 5 hours down the road, man.
He flew 5 hours across the water. You gotta right.
Terrell, can you tell us a little bit about Rise Urban Nation real quick?
Yeah, Rise Urban Nation is a podcast that highlights Black and Pan-African entrepreneurs all across the diaspora. Just so, let me give you the why I started this thing, because I used to do work on contracts from state and federal funding to look at how do we get underrepresented folks into different career fields like tech and so forth. Yeah. And so all this money was used. And then when I was out into the high school, especially in the lower income neighborhoods, the kids used to say, I'm not going to do that. And I had all this money to get them into these things. I'm going to do this balling thing. I'm going to do this rapid thing, this YouTube thing. But they could be skilled in this, but it's like, you the only one out here see you doing that. And I realized they couldn't be what they couldn't see. Yeah. And so I wanted to highlight all the different successful Black people in different spaces. So one, they have representation to see that, hey, you could do this too. Yeah. And two, to highlight the stories of these folks because these stories are untold.
Yeah, for sure. And also, me and Rise Urban Nation, we got a partnership.
Yeah, we got a partnership.
So we got a partnership. Really just like collective media. Like just helping each other. We're both speaking to business owners, leaders in different spaces, entrepreneurs, and like, hey, when the boat all rises, man, we rise with all the tides. So that's really about it.
We rise together.
Yeah.
I just came up with that. So like, let me
Rise Urban Nation. Is that your slogan or something?
Hey, I mean, it's part of like some of that is like part of my slogan. Like back in the t-shirt.
I like it.
What was the back of the t-shirt say?
Unite, uplift, and
Ignite.
And that's what we're doing with our partnership.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%.
And we just talk about this. We got to start doing business with each other.
100%.
And uniting so that we can uplift each other in our communities, right?
Yeah. How many, just real quick, how many, so who's your clientele? Who's the people
usually
that
game developers or companies that have just a massive amount of 3D kind of assets.
You got anybody that you've interviewed? He's done over 200 episodes.
This is several people. This I got even the guy who was the 30th employee for Microsoft, which is a black man who would probably be interested in the stuff that you're doing. So yeah, I got
well, they just shut it down, but they have this kind of amazing, what I would consider one of the best augmented reality headsets that obviously uses 3D and for gaming, and that is major. Like Microsoft was like such a major player. Yeah, the HoloLens, exactly. Yeah. So they just kind of like sunsetted it, but it's been for a while. That was like the best AR headsets ever. I'm sure I've tried it out. It's incredible.
It's super dope.
Yeah.
I'll probably get you out to San Diego because there's a guy named Claude Jones that does the San Diego Tech Hub, and there's a big tech ecosystem out there. They're trying to get like connected with just different things and innovation.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I think every place in the like specifically with like these like emerging technologies like AR, VR are so like immersive. Like you can use it anywhere. You can teleport yourself into this studio by wearing like a headset. Everyone should get one, honestly.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a lot of 3D footage too.
I'm like,
got an archive.
Oh my god.
What's your privacy and security settings like?
I don't know if we're talking about that. 3D footage.
I'm running out of space on my phone. need to upload some of this to the cloud.
So that's a great segue.
You kind of should. I'm in the cloud business. We'll talk later. I'll hook you up with some extra storage.
That's a great segue. That's a perfect intro for more than the titles in the building. Chatty, yo, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, you know, ladies and gentlemen, man, you know, Chatty, yo, my podcast is called More Than the Title. Just like everybody sitting at this table, we are more than what our titles define us as. So you might be a CEO, but you're also a son, somebody's brother, right? You might be somebody's lover, somebody's best friend, somebody's uncle, right? Somebody's confidant. So we all wear multiple hats. Mm-hmm. We all experience multiple roles that that in our daily lives we handle without even thinking about it because you do it so much, right? So we're all more than the title. So that's why we call our show More Than the Title.
Yeah,
super dope. Yeah, man.
Super dope.
More than the title, man. Don't let what's written on paper define you. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're more than that, right? You're that for that moment. But what happens when you leave work?
Right.
Yeah, you might run a company, but most people work for people.
Yeah.
So when you leave that company, that title stays there. Don't go home. What does account manager mean in your house?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You might not even be the house manager.
That's big fact.
You might not even wear the pants in your own house. All that manager shit, you better leave outside. You gonna sleep on the couch.
Don't come in this house with that.
You might
accountant
that's
manager.
a fact. You might sleep on the find your ass on the lazy boy tonight or something. But so you know, we do a lot of the same things that that this brother does right here. You know, we are trying to empower our community. Bottom line. And when I say the community, it means everybody in the community. So if you're in my community, it ain't because you want to be there. You understand what I'm saying? It's because economically, there's not a lot of options for you. So anybody, I don't believe in living in a bubble. Too many people live in a bubble where you think that if you don't take action because you might be financially okay or stable, or you live a certain way that the world and what it's going through won't affect you, and that's not true.
Right.
The problem is you wait too long, and by the time it affects you, it's too late. Now to affect and enact change takes a massive effort that you might not have the the resources for. So we got to stop living with this bubble mentality, right? We all live together. Watch this. I never met you before, but I lived in Cali 3 years. Never met you before, but I'm here. Me and Jamar, first time meeting. 4 different individuals, 4 different lifestyles, 4 different journeys. We are all in the same room right now. So guess what? If I'm feeling a certain sort of way right now, guess what? You a victim to that. You see what I'm saying? Your bubble now gets burst because now we all in the same room at the same time. And I can augment your reality very quickly because now you're a victim of what I feel like doing and how I feel in the moment. Do you see how quickly life can change for a person?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. When you walk outside and go to a store just to get a latte or whatever, a pizza or something, you are surrounding yourself by people that are going through things every single day.
Right. Perspective.
And
man.
you don't know what they're going through. So we got to stop treating people like trash, start caring about each other more like human beings, right? And then we can start to heal and we can start to get to a better place as a culture. You understand what I'm saying?
I love the work you're doing, man.
Yeah, man, we got to do it, man. We got to do it. We have to uplift each other. There's no reason for me to fight this man. He can be successful. You can be successful. This man can be successful. I can be successful. And we never have to fight each other.
Right.
And we never have to do anything that intertwines or nothing. We can do completely different things and have equal success without. We don't have to fight.
Yeah.
We got to get out of that mentality that in order for me to do well, I got to dog you or dog you or do you dirty or do a shady
you can't do that.
Got to get out of that mentality.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's all about changing your circle, man. That's my belief. The more you can change your circle, doing conversations like this and being able to meet new people, see where it goes, like that's where the opportunities come from, and that's where they give you, where you actually can change your circumstances. I want to ask you, so you've been in business for 6 years.
Yeah.
How did you grow your business to where it's at today? Like, what really was some of the either partnerships or the ways that you've been able to acquire customers to get to where you're at today?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the beginning, we really kind of went where our users at. So for example, we catered a lot of developers. We sponsored hackathons. We went to school and said, hey, you're building products, use our tool. So we really tried to kind of go to where our users are. If it's online, so there's developer forums or Facebook groups, or a lot of places where our kind of, again, clientele hangs out. So when you're building a business, try to figure out, like put yourself into their shoes, which exactly like you said, try to look at the world through them. Where do they hang out? Be there. Kind of be present there, try to show the value. So for us, it was a lot of online ads, a lot of like kind of boots on the ground, trying to kind of give our tool to these developers. And then the more it grew, kind of we got our brand out there, and that was kind of a big deal. Suddenly our name is out there, our company's name's out there, and people how to kind of find us and kind of use our tool. And now we're doing kind of like the reverse. We're doing like a lot of kind of direct sales, trying to find the people inside organizations that we know might get value from our kind of product, and then now we're kind of doing that reverse. But it's built on this amazing infrastructure that we already created that like now if they Google us or they try to find a tool for that specific problem, they can find us immediately.
And why, and just real quick to understand, why was this so important to get in developers' hands as far as a tool? I mean,
well, you have to validate that you're solving a real problem. If you're building a business at the end, this is not your like kind of something just for yourself. You're trying to build something for someone else. That's again like that's why I really love your kind of message of compassion. Like, and you're trying to solve someone else's problem. This is what it's all about. Building a business, it's not about you. It's about someone else. So if you're able to find and really validate that this problem exists and it's painful for them, and you can bring in like a product or a solution to solve it, that's great. But you really need to kind of look at your users kind of in the eye and see, does this actually make sense?
And that's oftentimes in entrepreneurship a misstep where they think they have a great product or benefits, the features, all that stuff, but they're not constantly thinking, what problem am I actually solving?
Yeah,
and
a lot of people
actually want this.
A lot of people are building solutions without figuring out, wait, is it a solution for a problem? Like, what is the problem that it actually solves? And the correct way is to identify a problem, make sure it's a problem, build a way through your customers, through your clients. Does this actually solve the problem that you have? And then that's how you can kind of scale to a massive level. And if you think of any successful company, any successful product, that's kind of it. Like the reason something goes viral, the reason that someone really resonates with a product is because this kind of great product market fit exists.
For sure. For sure. Now, how can he get tapped into? So from your customer base do you feel like there's like what do they call it? Your ideal customer.
Yeah, ideal customer persona, ICP, exactly.
ICP.
So your ideal customer, do you feel like you're lasered in on that, but do you feel like there's room for growth, or maybe
100%.
areas or audiences you're not reaching?
Yeah, so the ICP that we started with was one, but then the more the kind of company evolved, that evolved as well. So we started with kind of catering to developers or like literally students at school. But then the more time passed, suddenly we're catering to executives at big companies. That changed because the company kind of grows and the product grows and throughout time. And I think that's a great thing about like building a company or even building a product, building an audience. Suddenly that kind of grows and grows and grows, and you need to understand that you're actually catering to more and more ICPs.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's cool. I'm trying to figure out how to connect dots live on the podcast.
Well, I think you do that on the podcast all the time. You're talking to so many people, and like that amount of like kind of data that you accumulate is massive, and the amount of people that you know is massive, and you're always trying to kind of figure out, okay, how do I increase my reach? How do I make this podcast better, right?
Yeah.
And how does that happen? Suddenly you are talking about issues that affect more and more people.
Yeah.
And in order for that, you have to
what
figure
comes
out.
to mind with me, all the wordplay back and forth from the time when he said augment reality. I was like, that's a bar right there. He just wordplay off the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we're here. We're in the same.
And then he
this is New York
right
talking.
back when he was talking about like changing the reality, and then even the threading of the problem, going to understanding the problem and then the solutions and coming together. And like all of this is intertwined, you know. Like my mind is just blown when I'm just it's like, oh, we from different things. Yeah. But it's all.
But look how I would connect it. I would go, Echo 3D is dope, but for the person in urban space, how do you get into that space? Do you need a computer degree? Do you need an information technology degree, or do you need a coding degree? In the realm of a successful company like that, what are you looking for in a worker? What are you looking for in a partner? What are you looking for in a child that might be an innovator that want to bring an idea to you? That's the information that my people need to hear, right? Should they go to school and get a degree to work for you? Should they? How could they contact you to get an internship or a mentorship from you, and learn about what you're doing? Because obviously you're doing something, you're solving a problem, but you're solving a problem that is now becoming the norm, right? In the space of what you're doing. So if you're not being technologically savvy in this time and era, you're gonna fall behind very quickly. So see, that's how I would tie it in, right? What are the prerequisites to getting a job with you? What does that look like? You understand? You understand? Yeah, you raised 9.1 million. How many years did it take? What kind of VC capitalists did you deal with? What's the prerequisites for even applying for something like that? Did you do crowdsourcing? You understand what I'm saying? So like that's the kind of information. If I had you on the show, those are the questions that we would ask you, because these are the questions that people.
Let's ask him a couple questions.
No, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
he's right.
I can speak to some of that because in my former career doing workforce development, that's where I used to plug in at, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes his company may not know all the information to that.
Right.
Like, and so like there's usually like a community college that works with some like workforce development board in, let's say for New York, let's take New York as an example. New York probably has some workforce development board that takes federal dollars to give to the community colleges or to build programs with companies like his and say, all right, we're going to pay for workers to come work for you for free if you take it, because what we're trying to do is avoid a crisis in our city, because if they can't hire folks to do this particular job, they have to outsource it, which costs more for them to go outsource.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So try to get people to come into the city to fill those roles that his company, especially if there's a lot of roles. Like say if you had a bunch of roles for tech engineer on the back end, right? Yeah. And they gotta go do that, then they have to you're gonna have to make some deal to do something with some company over in India that can do the back end, and the city loses money on that, and then they get into deficit. Then what happens when you can't hire people? You got people in wheelchairs. It's going like, all right, well I gotta get the money to pay these bills, right?
In the circle of life.
Right. I'm trying to tell you.
So what's your experience with how you're hiring talent, or how you're seeing how people also can be able to get into tech?
Yeah, so it's definitely what you described. Like we have, I think, 10 interns every semester that come in, kind of immerse themselves in this new technologies. I think there's so much goodwill around like students to learn. A lot of these things that we're talking about, all these kind of new technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D, AI, they're all new. Like tomorrow you can like become an expert on them, and tomorrow a community can become like a community that just basically creates experts in that like every day. So I think that's really, really exciting and kind of really positive. Like this is all these like literally, what was it like yesterday? Elon Musk introduced all these like robots and whatnot.
You can become the Optimus robot.
So you can tomorrow you can like say, okay, that's my passion now, and I want to be part of that community. That just right now, this is like the first robot we're seeing. So in a few years, you can take a kid who is trying to figure out their lives and like make them into an expert. And they can do that, and they can like really change their outcome just because they are now expert in this kind of new emerging field.
And like I'll second that because I know somebody who was from the hood, interested in the AI, kid that was interested in that I met at a conference. He took these Google free certificate classes.
Amazing.
The free ones, right?
Yeah, amazing.
Got an entry level job to some tech company because he got really good from the Google classes.
Amazing.
As making 6 figures right now, then went on is about to become a consultant because he got really good from a free certificate. He got a Google certificate.
Amazing.
And had a passion for it.
Not about the cost of the education, is the value.
You
see?
100%.
That's awesome.
Free doesn't matter. It's what value did he get from it, and he got a technical skill. He learned a trade. See, this is what we're talking about the importance of education. Right? There it is. He said, not only did that free course. Now, what's the ROI? We talk about ROI as business owners and businessmen, right? What's the ROI of you giving out a free course? Okay, it takes X amount of resources to create said course and X amount of resources to disseminate said course to the people. That one person gets a job, then he makes 6 figures, then he makes 7 figures, whatever. His whole family eats from that. As a worker, now let's say he becomes this gentleman right here and then opens up an entire company and solves a problem. Now he has workers and partners and this and now you change how many other families' lives from one free course. You see how that works?
How did you get into that?
That works.
So I was always a techie.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I was always a techie. I always wanted to, study computer science. That's what I did for like in high school and undergrad and grad, and specifically that connection of kind of hyper visual technology like AR, VR was really appealing to me. I did this project at Columbia University. We took CT and MRI scans, converted them into 3D, and then physicians would wear, literally sci-fi, would wear smart glasses like that HoloLens, and would see the patient's heart floating above him during surgery.
Wow.
It was nuts.
Fire.
I scrubbed into like 13 surgeries. No one even checked my ID. I was like, how is this real?
Like, how are you in the room right now?
We're going to cut that. No, hold on. Allegedly. You allegedly strapped in for 13 surgeries.
It was such a crazy experience.
Not say the name of that hospital. Please. Lord.
During the surgery.
Right.
Open heart.
Open heart. Allegedly.
Heart flowing above.
But it was such an amazing experience. It was really like taking, again, this kind of new technology that no one uses and putting it in the OR. My problem there was that I was an engineer. Why am I in an OR? It's 5 a.m. in the morning. I love sleeping. Suddenly I can't. I need to be there to swap out 3D models, rebuild an app, deploy it to glasses for the physician to see the kind of patient's heart floating above the kind of their body.
Right.
And I was like, it has to be a way. There has to be some cloud solution that I can just drag and drop and change that.
Right.
That's it. Here's the problem that I found that I have personally and professionally. Now, after that, started talking to so many developers. I interviewed like 300 people to kind of get to the bottom of this. Like, is this an actual problem? People said yes. We started building it. And then that message, that story resonated with customers, with investors, with our partners. And that's
my man is like the VR Tony Starks.
I'm working on it.
This is something that I envision seeing in a Marvel movie.
And
like, all right, we're gonna fix them up. Right.
No, but that's the goal. Isn't that like you're seeing kind of art, like movies and whatnot, kind of showing us, like what do we want reality to look like?
Right.
And then we see again, like what we talked about with kind of Elon Musk one. Suddenly we have robots. This is something that 5 years ago people think science fiction, but it exists. And people like us can like work on that tomorrow and today.
Right.
So I think that's kind of like, again, the powerful thing that a lot of these science fiction stuff are just science fiction because right now isn't fiction. This is just science that we can bring into life.
Man. They bring this VR to the hood, it's gonna get crazy.
I'm just gonna say this. we get very creative. Trust me. That shit will turn into
that
something.
Becomes accessible to everybody.
You ain't never.
Well, it's pretty accessible.
You know how technology evolves into something you didn't think it could evolve into. Bring that to the hood.
But this is, I guess, it kind of goes back to your point. Like, this is what we need. We need all stakeholders to come in, leverage technology, push it to the next level. There's creativity everywhere. And and because a kid can't afford a headset today, it's a loss for all of us, because that means we're not getting their creativity on display.
For sure.
But I think there's opportunities. Like I look at kids like what's that Nigerian kid who does the streaming.
Oh yeah, I know
Kai,
what you're talking about.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you gave something that's like this to Kai and he brings all his homies in and they
Are you talking about Kai Sanat?
is he the
He's Nigerian.
He's not. I didn't know he's Nigerian.
He's Nigerian.
Oh, he's
He
Nigerian.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Oh, you
know
learn
that.
something new every day.
I did not
Maybe that's
know
why he
that.
screams all the fucking time. I'm like, why is he always fucking screaming? Every reaction is like, oh my God! My nigga, emotionally, you are are you a Cancer?
He's always screaming.
Always screaming, bro. Get you some Adderall.
But you're saying that if you can link that up with like an influencer like that to get it out to the masses,
and then it'll create a new wave of folks wanting to really learn more, get into it, and then find ways to do different things.
Do you guys do any influencer marketing at all?
No, we did some on like YouTube. There's some kind of channels that are really focused on these, and like people who are again like streamers who stream themselves playing like Beat Saber and all these kind of VR games. So we sponsored some shows to get kind of visibility through that. So that's obviously great. So gaming. There's also construction websites that do the same thing that we're trying to kind of push.
See, my thing is like, you are a STEM program. Let's talk about bringing your company to some of these career days.
Yeah.
How about that? How about, let's give a course in the fundamentals of what it would take to even get started in that, in the educational school system from grade school on up. Let's do that. Somebody had said something, I don't know if it was this session or the other session, about like tuning, I think it was the other session, about tuning in to one thing and becoming the best at it. You know why our culture don't do that? Because we're so good at so many things, but because economically we're such in a bad place that anytime an opportunity comes to help us see a little bit of light, we're going to take it. Mm-hmm. So yes, I'm really good at this, but this is not bringing in any money right now. But this that I'm also really good in can pay the light bill for a month. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Take that and add it on a national scale. How many people go to school and get a degree and never work in the field that you actually just spent 20, 30,
Lots.
40, 50, 60,000?
Yeah,
it's like 80%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like 80% of people that go and study something end up getting a job somewhere else. How many people are in jobs that they absolutely hate their life, going to work every single day?
Tons.
This is what I'm saying to you. What are we doing? We're running around a hamster wheel here. It's impossible to get the best possible version of yourself if you hate what you do.
Yeah, very
How?
true. Very true.
How? If you hate coming to work, you hate the environment, you hate your boss, everything you hate, you're gonna give your best. You're gonna give over the amount of what's at. No, you're not. This is why we got to correct these things as children. Hey, these are the opportunities. I know that you might not have even thought this could have been a job, could have been a career, could have been a business for your family. But it is. Are you interested? Let me show you the way. Instead of doing that at 20 and 30 and changing somebody's life, doing it as a child and developing that along the path. Because it's better that way. Because then you're going to get somebody that truly wants to do that.
That's a phenomenal point. I think the fact that like it's really hard to kind of visualize what will be like the next, job or career or title, and it can be anything. Again, who would thought like when you talk to your grandma and tell her, oh, I run podcasts, does she know what a podcast is? Like, would she imagine?
I know, a lot of people are like, how do you make money with
but
that?
honestly, when I tell my parents I'm doing AR, VR, you know what I mean? It's like one generation. So like we're always like one generation away from like really transforming everything, and like you can monetize. Look, I mean, what you guys do is like incredible, but can you even like think about like would your ancestors will say, yeah, that's what my kid will do, like they're running a podcast and they can monetize it? It's really unbelievable.
And like, trust me, I know a lot of people in the hood that should have a podcast because they got the gift of gab and stuff like some of the barbershop talks I've been in. Oh man, like
that could be a good podcast. Just put it, put it mic.
Like I was like, oh man, this is crazy. But to your point, so here's the thing, because I hear what you're saying, like and So I come from a immigrant dad, and my mom was born in the hood of New York, right? Upper state, Rochester. And so they all...
New York State.
New York State.
Yeah. it's a
New York State.
yeah.
So I'm a...
Not the city.
Yeah, not the city.
Oh my
Can't
God,
claim the city if you from Rochester. No. If you from Rochester, you can't claim New York City. You gotta say I'm from Rochester. You can't say, oh yeah, I'm from New York, from New York City. No, you're not. You're from Rochester. You're from Buffalo.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
They like make it very clear.
Yeah.
But anyways, these two, my dad was immigrant mindset. Oh, you got to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yeah.
Right. You know, my mom's like, do this job because it'll make you money. Because blah blah blah. The jobs they pushed on me, I wasn't good at. And I went to my career trying to do those things, and I didn't like it, and I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly what you said.
But once I stepped outside of that and I started doing the things that I love, that's why I tell kids, do what you love what you do. Don't chase the money, let the money chase you. And what I mean by that, once you start doing what you love, people pay top dollar to do that thing you do. The first time I got paid to go public speak somewhere, I didn't know you get paid to public speak.
Yeah, right.
Love it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, amazing.
to public speak at this thing. I was like, shoot, I don't know. I said a couple $100. They're like, oh, that's it. I was like, wait, you would have paid more.
Love it.
And so, like, we gotta teach our kids, like, find your gift and then use that gift.
Yeah, love it.
Because that's where it is.
Yeah.
When you do something that's not work, it's not work. Then you'll do it to a capacity that you don't even understand, right? I'm just telling you what it is. When you go to work, you work. You be watching the clock. It's fucking 4:58. If I go to that fucking punch out thing before 5 o'clock, right? I know she gonna say something. I'm gonna wait the
all
fuck.
been there, watching the hand tick.
But watch this. But as a creator, we're creators. We're creators, right? One of my first degrees is in computers, right? One of my first degrees is in computers. I've always been a tech kid. I've always been into video games. I think I had almost every video game ever released until I had a fire, but I still got video games in the house now. Me and my son, any given day, you go to the man cave, we're screaming and throwing fucking controllers. You motherfucker! I'm throwing keyboards. We're gamers. We understand it, right? But at the end of the day, I chose a different path. You know why? Because I had my son early. And I came out the military. I'm a Marine. I had my son at 21. I wanted him early, but I didn't have the path. So I end up doing construction. You say, why you do construction? Because my godfather did construction. Now I don't know what the fuck he did in the point, but I know every Thursday, this nigga pocket is like this. Nigga pocket, goddamn. Nigga, I was like, last time I seen that kind of money, you know what we doing. And I had a guy that had an application list. And it was for apprenticeships all over New York City. And he didn't have a car. And I said, oh, let me get a copy of that. And he would not give anybody a copy of the list. He said, if you want to go, you have to take me with you.
Oh, wow.
This is true. Gatekeeping shit. Long story short, we went to a couple of them, and I happened to go to one on Varick Street. We camped outside. This is how serious it was. And you didn't even get in, homie.
Wow.
And I started out an apprentice and worked my way up through construction. I built a lot of these buildings by hand myself. 22 years in construction, worked up senior management, etc. But I'm just showing you. I spent 22 years in a career that I absolutely never wanted to fucking do. But guess what? The money started coming in. I started to feed my family. I'm able to be a man and provide a house and a home for my family and support my family. Am I gonna risk that to do this? That's uncertain. This is what people struggle with now. They get these jobs. They end up having relationships and responsibilities, and then they get so old that it's like, change now? They're too afraid.
Yeah.
Because are they willing to risk what little bit they have? What little bit of security that it might have took 10, 15 years to finally get to chase that dream?
Right.
That's the problem. Yeah. We're trying to get an adult to transform. Yeah. This is why we got to get them as children before you make the mistakes.
Then you have like your kid right now who's standing on the shoulder of literally a giant, right? And he can do anything. Again, like what will be the title of your kid? Maybe robot engineer, maybe astronaut. Who knows? And like we're only limited by imagination,
right?
But kind of your sacrifice is something that basically he's standing on the shoulder of. So that's kind of an amazing thing. So if you can't change the father, at least
So, but again, but my life ain't over, Jamar. I still want to fucking be happy.
Yeah.
My life ain't over. What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying, right? They did a study a long time ago about when successful people truly become successful, especially entrepreneurs. I think most of the entrepreneurs first develop success in their 40s. Because you have to kind of go through shit, live life, understand things, right? Yeah. And then you truly become successful into your 40s. And then, you know, Elon Musk and a lot of them, if you actually look at when they actually started to become successful, Vince McMahon, and all, they were then like late. It wasn't early.
The stats are second-time founders are so much more successful. Like, you need to fail first, understand, right? And then the second time so much. So obviously, that makes total sense.
The pitfalls, exactly. And the mistakes that could happen. Yeah.
But it's the 100%. Education. We have to get out the education because he took a hit because he didn't have us. Now, watch the difference. Hey, Chatty, man, I got this public speaking thing, man. What's the base minimum that you guys get?
Yeah.
Listen, this is what the base minimum of what everybody gets in this industry. XYZ.
Yeah.
Now you go to them with, XYZ, which might have been 10 times what you just asked for.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And they understand, you understand, because that's the base minimum. See, they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
But the problem is we're not telling them either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're not telling them. I ain't telling you what the fuck I get for my public
transfer
speaking.
of knowledge.
That's what I'm talking about. Because I think if I tell him he going to take my spot, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
If he take his spot, then it wasn't your spot.
And there's plenty of spots.
That's what I'm saying.
So there's enough spots for
that's
everybody.
why I'm saying it's very important for us to disseminate this knowledge. That's always going to be my message, right? Stop gatekeeping the knowledge, man. Because once he gets on, now, guess what? You're a phenomenal speaker. You have a lot to say. Did you ever think about public speaking? No, I never thought about that, Chatty. Now I could give you an opportunity because now I'm in this field and I've dominated this field, and now they're looking for more people that I can. You see how that works?
Yeah, 100%.
You see how that works?
Love it.
100%.
One hand wash the other. Or I've spoke for so many tech companies now. I know the owners or VPs are the guys that sign the checks.
Yeah.
Hey, I might have a plug for you.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Next person that comes be like, I'm trying to get more involved, Terrell, in the community.
See?
You know what? I know some cats in New York.
Yeah.
Let me connect you, right?
See?
This is why changing your circle is so important, man.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. Especially when you change it and also you can transfer the knowledge and the expertise over to the next person. So, man, this has been super dope. Where can people find you at?
Echo3D.com. Check us out. There's a free tier that you can kind of register, play around with. Totally free, and start playing around with 3D models, animations, interactive content.
You can do that directly on the website?
Yeah, just register.
I might try that myself.
Yeah, check it
I'm
out.
going to play
Well, there
around
you go.
with some
There's
3D
good
models.
Yeah. I'm going to alert the R&D team. Chatty's going to...
website.
Yeah. Chatty's going to stress test it. I'll alert the fleet. Yeah.
It's called limit testing. Beta testing.
To a whole nother. I was like, well, there you go. There's some free access to the knowledge. And he took it to a whole nother thing.
Oh my god. But yeah, check us out, echo3d.com. And again, just I really love the conversation, how again, inspiring it is, and how if there's a new technology, do you want to dive into that rabbit hole? Do it.
Yes.
Check it out. There's so many resources out there. Like you mentioned, so many free resources out there. Try it. Become an expert in this new thing. Yeah. And see if you like it.
Yeah, for sure. You never know. You might start a tech company and be 6 years in and be killing the game, man. Super dope. Where can people find you at?
www.riseurbannation.com. Wherever you can find podcasts. I'm on every podcast platform, all social media platforms. Let's connect.
Dope. Where can people find you at? More than the title?
Yeah, man. All streaming platforms, especially YouTube. But we're on all streaming platforms. The More Than the Title podcast. Check us out, man. If you want to connect with me directly on Instagram, I am Chatty-O. And Facebook is mainly, I'm on Facebook, Chatty-O the CEO. Holla at me, man. Let's talk.
I didn't plug myself last time.
Yeah. Plug us up. I can find you.
Plug myself. Jamar Jones, I'm on LinkedIn. You can hit me up there. Our website is forevermedia.com, FOUREVA media.com. We help people grow their personal brand, their business. So, I'm the change your circle guy. All I do is change my circle every day.
I can't let you go out like that. So tell them why you spell for media the way you spell it.
So it's pretty deep, but I'll go really quick. So the meaning for forever is so back in the day when I used to perform. So I was a hip hop artist for 11 years of my life. Performed and opened up for major artists. Did hundreds and hundreds of shows. My name was 4-0. And that came from back in the day when slaves were promised 40 acres of land and a mule, and they never got it. And so it symbolizes hope and freedom, of like striving for something.
Wow.
And so that's what the 4 comes for. And then the Eva part was legacy. I wanted to create something that had legacy to it so I could pass it down and generation to generation. The A on the end was just some swag on the end. So I just wanted to add some swag.
Some sauce.
Yeah, a little sauce.
A little sauce.
A little sauce on the end,
sauce.
just to show the flavor and the dynamics of the hip hop culture that I have in me in the entertainment side. So yeah, man, it's deep. It's deep.
Forever Media.
Yeah, forever. So subscribe, like, comment, share this episode, and don't forget you can change your circle to change your life. And we're out. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for more amazing content that we're going to be putting out. And don't forget, you can change your circle to change your life.